Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be sharing all about my coaching because I actually realized that for most of my clients, if not all of my clients, I'm actually the first coach that they've ever hired or worked with. And I realized that that's probably the case for any future clients. So I wanted to explain about what I do as a coach. So if you are interested or you might be interested, you'll have a better idea of what coaching is like. So I do feel like coaching is like having a personal trainer for your mind. So like a personal trainer is there to help you with improving your body, making it the way that you want it to be, and really like holding you accountable and taking you through that process. And as a coach, that's what I do for my clients, but I work with their mind. So I work with them on really like getting clear on what their goals are and then making sure that all the actions that they're taking are aligned with the goals that they're seeking to have. And I hold them accountable and support them through that process. So it's really amazing because I do help my clients to just align with the life that they ultimately want to have. And so I do work on like a more general basis right now. So I do call myself like a self-love coach, a life coach, a personal development coach. So it is kind of like a more broad and general like openness that I have with regards to the type of clients that I'm receiving and the type of work that I'm doing. I just ultimately want my clients to have their dream lives. And when I first started coaching, I was more specialized. So I did like raw vegan and health coaching. I did social media and business coaching. And then I finally had transitioned into like sex, love, and relationship coaching when I ultimately decided to take a break. And when I came back to coaching, I made it more general because I realized that when I was doing the specialized work, that it was like the same underlying thing in all of them. Like in all the specializations that I had, ultimately the core thing was self-love. And that was the major thing that I worked with on my clients to get the things that they wanted. And so I realized that I wanted to open it up to really be focused on self-love, because then whatever my clients want out of having that self-love, they're going to get. And I just really like to work with people on a variety of things. And so by really having this broad spectrum of clients, it allows me to work with a lot of different things that they're dealing with. And that's what keeps it really fun and interesting for me. So just wanted to give you guys that framework of everything. So I do have some notes here that I'm going to dive into now. So basically, because I do have this more general and open system that I work with, you might be wondering like, who do I work with? You know? So I do work with people who are ready to achieve the goals that they're seeking to achieve. They're ready to start changing their lives. They want to change their lives and have their dream life, and they want it right now. You know, there's like no more of like, oh, that's something that's going to happen in the future. Like, I really want this thing to happen. It's like they're ready to like actually live their dream lives right now. And they're willing to do what it takes. So they're not like, okay, yeah, I want that thing, and they say they want it. Like, they're actually ready to take those action steps to start moving forward. And they're people that are open and ready for guidance. So not everyone is ready to like receive help. They're still trying to figure things out on their own. And that's totally fine. For the people that I work with, for the people in general that any coach will work with, it's like, it's only going to be those people who are actually ready to like get help from someone else. Okay? So basically, I walked you through like what I do. And then in terms of the actual format, so when I was doing coaching before, like earlier stages of my coaching, I had weekly calls with my clients. And I recently shifted it to doing unlimited voice messaging coaching with my clients. And I did that because this way we can move through things more quickly. So with the scheduled calls, if something came up and it was in between our sessions, then my clients would have to wait until the next session, and they would have to remember that that was something that had come up for them. But with the voice messaging, they can share as something comes up. We're working with things basically almost on a daily basis. So when things come up for them every single day, we're able to work through it and just like deal with it so that it's not something that they forget about. It's not something that they let linger for a while. It's like we're actually working with it as it's coming up and we're dealing with it right away. So it's a more rapid process. My clients also get way more access to me. So like I said before, it was like they would have these scheduled calls, and this way, like, they're basically like almost 24/7. They're getting access to me. Like, they can message me anytime and I get back to them during my working hours. And so it's like way more access. They're getting all this time with me for several like weeks. And yeah, so more and also more flexibility, right? So before, if we had a scheduled call and something came up for them and they couldn't make that time, then we would usually have to schedule it for the following week. So it was like a pretty standard schedule. But this way, there's like just way more flexibility with regards to like when we're working together and when things are coming up. It's just like we're working with the natural flow of things as they're coming up for them, rather than like a structure that just might not be suitable. So why would someone hire a coach? Like, why wouldn't someone just try to figure things out on their own? Or why wouldn't they try to work with a friend who can like hold them accountable? So with regards to trying to figure things out on your own, you can do that. And there's some times when like I will do that when I am figuring things out on my own versus when I am working with a coach. But working with a coach does help to move things through faster. It helps me to feel really validated. So if like I'm having a feeling or an experience that comes up, when I have a coach help to like be like, yeah, I've felt that before. Like, I understand what you're going through. It's like, it just puts me more at ease and makes me feel like seen and heard and validated. And it just really helps to like ease through the process of healing and ultimately getting what I want. And it helps me to move more quickly. So like, if I were trying to figure things out on my own, then it's like, I'm gonna try a multitude of different ways. But when I'm working with a coach, I'm able to use the systems and the processes that work for them. So even if it's not something that they've directly dealt with or directly had an experience with, they've likely had a similar situation or a similar experience, and they can tell me how they worked through it. So like, perhaps it took them a year to work through something and they had to figure out the process of how to do it. Well, because they're sharing the process with me, I can move through it way more quickly than the process that, like the time it took for them to move through that process. So it definitely helps to move through things more quickly. Like, I can tell my clients, like, this is what I did, this is what worked, and they're able to implement it. So they don't have to try to figure things out on their own. And I also wanted to say that you don't necessarily have to work with a coach who has done exactly what you want to do. So sometimes that might be the case. Like, sometimes, for example, if someone wants to become a millionaire, they want to work with a coach who has already become a millionaire, because that coach can tell them, like, this is exactly what I did to become a millionaire. But you can also work with a coach who has never done what you want to do, but you just really like their energy. So like, for example, with in the athletic community, there's tons of coaches who have never achieved like championships, who have never won gold medals, but they're amazing coaches. And the reason why those athletes work with those coaches is because they trust them, because the coach has an energy that really resonates, and their style, it's like that individual, that athlete can really like listen to that person. Like I said before, it's like that open and receptiveness to having that guidance and help, but it's that openness and receptiveness to having that help from that particular person, right? You might be open, but you're like, okay, that person, how they say things, how they do things doesn't resonate for me at all. Like their energy just doesn't resonate. And that's totally fine. It's a lot like dating, you know? It's like, it doesn't mean anything if two people aren't a good match. Like, so what, you know? It's like, okay, they're just not a good match. They're just not a good fit together. But like there are couples where it's like, boom, like they just have amazing energy, amazing synergy, and they're just a good fit for each other. And that's exactly how it is with coaching. It's like, we're just a really good match for certain clients or certain coaches. It's just a really good fit. It's exactly like dating. And so it is important that you have a good energetic match. Like you just feel like, okay, this is the person who's going to, like with regards to selecting the coach, it's like, this is the person who is going to take me to the next level, who's going to help me to achieve my goals, who's going to help me to get the thing that I want. Like this is just the person that I feel connected to energetically. So it's important that you work with someone that has that connection with you and for you. Now, why do you want to hire someone versus like working with a friend, for example? Well, when you're working with a friend, let's say you're like, okay, let's just like be accountability buddies or something. Or like, can you help me to do this? Well, number one, if you're not paying that friend and you're just like trying to get a lot out of them, like you're trying to get a lot of help from them, but it's not energetically like even, it's not equal and in an energetic way, then that friend might feel resentful. They might feel energetically drained. It doesn't have that equal energy exchange. And so when you're working with a coach, it's like someone's like paying me, so there's that energetic exchange, and in exchange for that money, that energy that they're giving me, I'm giving them my time and my energy. And I have prices that feel aligned for me to be able to give my time and energy. In addition to paying, it also creates like putting that skin in the game. So when you're working with a friend, for example, it's like, if you don't actually do the things that they tell you to do, or you decide like, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore, there's no like consequence to that, you know? There's no thing that like inspires you to keep going unless you have that inner guiding system within you that just like really holding you accountable. But when you pay someone, when you actually have skin in the game, it holds you accountable. And that's why like if you look at people who join a gym, it's like it's such a low price that they're like, oh, I don't really have to go. But when they pay a personal trainer at the gym, like they're gonna show up. They paid that personal trainer to make sure that they're actually doing what they want and getting them to have that body that they want. And so it's the same with a coach. Like my clients are paying me to make sure that we're staying on top of their goals, that they're actually doing their homework, that they're showing up and doing that inner work that they need to do so that they can ultimately have what they want. I remind them of what they want. I make sure that they're doing their work, and I tell them how badass and amazing they are. You know, sometimes you just need that like cheerleader who's just gonna remind you of how amazing you are as you're working through these processes, because a lot of times we can feel like, oh my God, like we feel overwhelmed or exhausted, and it's like, it's a lot of work to make sure that we're like doing these daily things like on a consistent basis. And so I am also their cheerleader, just like reminding them of how amazing they are and how far they're like coming along on the process. Like I can show them of like where they were and where they are now, and like keep showing them that growth that they've had throughout the process. Another thing is that I'm unbiased. So let's say you're working with a friend, then that friend, okay, let's say you're wanting to have the ideal relationship and you're like asking your friend for help. Well, your friend might not like that person that you're dating, or they're just like, they're so clear on something that your partner did or how they are. But like, for me, as someone who's unbiased, it doesn't really matter to me. Like, I don't know these things. And so I'm only working on like what my clients tell me. So if they're telling me something, then I'm able to hold that mirror up to them about like, okay, this is the situation. This is what you're telling me. Is this what you want? Is this how you want things to be? And like, I just want them to have their best lives. And I want them to like have everything that they want. And it's like, what that looks like doesn't matter to me. Like, I am like totally unbiased. I'm not like living with them or like being surrounded by the people they're around. So it does help to have someone who's unbiased to like show you like what's going on in your life. Yeah. So basically those are everything that I wanted to cover with regards to my coaching in general, and what it's like to work with a coach, why you should work with a coach, why you might want to work with a coach. So I would love to know your comments and questions in the comments section down below. I also wanted to mention that I currently have one coaching spot available right now. So if you are interested in working with me to make sure that you're taking the action steps to have like the fast track to your dream life, and you do truly resonate with my energy and you feel like I'm the right person to help you to achieve your dream life, be sure to send me a message. You can send me a message on Instagram at Story of Lori to inquire about my coaching, and we can get you started. So definitely be sure to message me if you do want to grab that spot. Again, let me know your comments and questions in the comments section down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. I love you guys, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.